Hey everybody, Stephanie here from Instapot Basics and Beyond, and today we're gonna do spaghetti. You know, we got an Instant Pot because we want to make dinner quickly, so why not get an American staple done, right? So if you notice it's a little noisy, I'm starting by browning my hamburger here in my Instant Pot. So you just turn on the saute function. That'll get things going. One thing you'll want to know is that it gets hot fast. So make sure you're ready to go. You just don't want to burn your meat. I'll link the recipe that I'm referring to in the comments when we're done. So we're starting with, recipe calls for a pound of ground turkey, beef, whatever. I have 3/4 of a pound because that's what I had on hand and it'll be fine. We also have a second camera with us now, and so we'll see, maybe I can actually show you inside the pot today. Alright, did I turn that on? Yes. Okay. I turned it off because it was getting too hot, so it will come back up in a minute. Alright, so that's cooking. We're going to season that. The recipe just calls for salt, pepper, garlic powder, which is great. However, I'm also adding, well, that's pepper, but this is garlic powder. You can never have too much, right? Well, probably you can in a recipe. So I'm also going to add some Italian seasoning and some onion powder, just because that's how I like to cook. So, and no, I don't measure. When you've been doing it as long as I have, you just throw stuff in the pot and it's all good. Okay. Now, you would think that making spaghetti in an Instant Pot shouldn't be that hard. We've done macaroni and cheese, right? You just throw it in, stir it up, cook it for 3 minutes, and it's like amazing sauce. Spaghetti is not that easy. I've done spaghetti in the Instant Pot multiple times with fails. The noodles are all stuck together, half of them aren't even cooked, and it's just ridiculous. And it's super annoying, and I gave up because who wants half-cooked spaghetti noodles? That's no good. So then, my good friend, she's not my friend, she doesn't even like this, but I came across a recipe from Mel's Kitchen Cafe, which had an interesting method that I gave a try and actually worked. And the secret is how you put the noodles in the pot. So you can't just throw, well, you could throw whole spaghetti noodles in the pot, but you're not going to end up with cooked noodles. So the key is we're going to break them in half. We're going to split them into some groups, and we're going to layer them alternating in the pot. Okay? And then we put sauce on top, and then we're going to pour some water around the edge and just leave it. Sorry, we're still cooking hamburger. I was going to have this done before I started it, and, you know, life happens. It's almost done. So another thing... No. Oh, you also notice I'm touching the pot. Eventually this is going to get hot. I mean, it's a big metal pot, and so be careful and please don't burn yourself. Okay, her recipe, we'll start with a couple things because I'm not doing it 100% like she says, which is okay. She calls for regular spaghetti noodles that take, on the package it says 10 to 11 minutes to cook. I do not like the thickness of regular spaghetti noodles. So typically I'll actually cook angel hair for my family, but I think that cooks too fast to do in the Instant Pot. So we're going with thin spaghetti. The package says, what does the package say? This takes 8 to 9 minutes to cook. So the directions say in the Instant Pot, for the noodles, regular spaghetti noodles that take 10 to 11 minutes to cook in a regular boiling pot of water, she cooks for 7 minutes. So these take 8 to 9 minutes to cook, and I'm going to cook them for 5. So just a little adjustment there. We'll still do the same method because it'll work great. Alright, so once this is cooked, you can drain it if you feel the need. I have some pretty lean beef that's homegrown, so I'm not going to worry about draining it. So once it's cooked, you just want to take your favorite utensil, break it all up into nice small pieces, make sure it's all cooked, and spread it around evenly in the pan. Alright, that's done. So now we're going to get out our spaghetti. So if you feel like your Instant Pot's too hot and this is going to take you some time, feel free to turn it off / hit the cancel button again so your meat doesn't burn while you're doing the rest of this. Okay. I like to break it over the pot just because sometimes you get little bits. So I just took a portion of the noodles, use your big muscles, break them in half, make tiny pieces that get all over the place. Alright, so I'm just going to put a layer in. Hopefully we get to use the other camera and you can see, and then we're just going to alternate the noodles. And I seriously just got little noodle bits all over my kitchen. Oh well. That's what brooms are for, right? Alright, so I did probably about 2.5 layers with about half the noodles. I think in the recipe says about 5 or 6. So I better show you in case my camera doesn't work. Well, and there's actually really good diagrams in the recipe. So we're taking the noodles and I'm kind of just spreading them out more so than I can do in my hands. But this way, and then this way. In the pot. On top of our hamburger. Okay, there we go. Hey, the recipe also then calls for 40 ounces of spaghetti sauce. The recipe lists in the notes her favorite, and it comes in that size at Costco. Well, I wasn't at Costco, so I'm using 2 24-ounce jars of my favorite spaghetti sauce. Do what you want. Yes, it's going to be a little extra, but it's not going to be a big deal. So, 1 jar. But you want to make sure you have at least the amount she calls for. Less will not be good. And you might ask, well, you're using less meat. Do you need less sauce? No. It's more about the noodles than the meat anyway. So, supposed to be a little extra saucy. Alright. So then you go with that. Then she says, sprinkle some basil over the top. Again, she gives you a measurement. I don't measure. And if you don't like basil, then don't put it in. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Okay, then here's another trick. You're going to take 3.5 cups of water, and you're going to pour it around the edge of the pot. Which maybe is a little tricky. If your pot's not too hot, I might recommend just like rotating your pot as opposed to trying to move your giant measuring cup around your pot. And then you're not going to stir it. Don't touch it. Remember, we made our beautiful layers. We got our meat on the bottom. We got to just leave it. So, around we go. Oops. Oh snap. That's okay. Alright. There we go. You know, if you get a little water, it's okay. Okay, put our lid on. Turn it so it locks in place. Your Instant Pot makes the fun little noise. Okay, again, we want our steaming valve set to sealing. It's going to be loose until the pot comes to pressure and locks it in place. When it does come to pressure, the little metal button next to it will pop up, and then everything's locked in place, and you can't touch it until the pressure releases, which is beautiful, because then you walk away, right? That's why we all have an Instant Pot. Okay, manual pressure for, what did I say, 5 minutes? So, manual, push your little buttons up or down, plus or minus, till you get to what you need, and then you leave it alone. We're going to do a quick release on this. When you do a natural release, things keep cooking. We've got pasta. We don't want it to keep cooking. We want it to be done. So, once it's come up to pressure, so it says on as it's coming to pressure. Once it comes to pressure, it will say the time, and then it will count down. Once it gets to 0, it says L, and then we'll start counting back up. That's just letting you know how long it's staying in the warm zone. But once it beeps that it's done, we're going to come in and push our valve over to venting, and typically it's going to be shooting steam all out of it and might scare you. So what I like to do is I usually have a kitchen towel. I hold my towel, flip it, and put a towel on top of it. Also, I usually do it over my cupboards, and I don't want steam shooting all over my cupboards. So once it comes down, we'll then have spaghetti. I think that's all. So I will keep an eye on the time so we know how long it takes all together, and we'll be back and see our finished spaghetti in just a few minutes. Okay, everybody, we're back. So it took about 15 minutes to come to pressure. Again, we cooked it for 5 minutes, and it took like 2 or 3 minutes to come down. So we're gonna go ahead and open it careful because it's gonna be steamy hot. And again, the lid likes to drip. Like I say, I usually put mine over the edge of my sink, but. All right, so we have spaghetti. Doo-doo-doo. We have, some of the noodles are stuck together a little bit, but that's okay. I can tell that they're all cooked. So you're just gonna wanna get in here with your tongs or a spoon. Give it a stir. So that's it. Spaghetti's done, dinner's on the table. Warm up some can of green beans and call it good. That's what I do in my house anyway. Okay, so we're talking all together, so I mean it takes a few minutes to, you know, brown your meat, get it together. 15 minutes to come up to pressure. So we're gonna say 25, you know, minutes or so. And you know, maybe you can do it faster on the stove. You know, brown your meat, boil your noodles, the whole bit. But the thing I always tell people that I love about the Instant Pot is even if it's not necessarily faster, you don't have to pay attention to it. You can't pay attention to it. It's locked. You can't open it. You put it all in there, you walk away. If you're cooking stuff on the stove, you gotta be stirring noodles. They don't stick to the bottom. You gotta be stirring meat, or you got spaghetti sauce splattering all over the place. Maybe that's just me. You know, you gotta babysit. This, you don't have to babysit. Throw it all together, let it go. You got 20 minutes, you know, to go deal with your kids, decompress from work, you know, get the table set, whatever needs to be done, and you don't have to worry about it. So I hope that you find this recipe helpful. You know, feel free to make it your own however you want. I will, again, link the recipe that I referenced when making this. Facebook, YouTube, like, subscribe, all the things, share with your friends. I hope that this is helping you be comfortable with your Instant Pot. Don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. It's an amazing tool. It can't blow up. And have a great day.